All right, Ohio State and Michigan. This is obviously the game of the hyping it up like the game of the century. We've got obviously huge ramifications here, Big Ten championship playoff ramifications. Michigan 3.5-point home favorites at the Big House, 46.5 the total. All of a sudden, things have changed here. Years, if not decades, of ownage by Ohio State over Michigan. And now 2 years in a row where Michigan has gotten the better of Ohio State, winning each of the last two meetings and winning them convincingly as well by double digits both times. Great game. I mean, I have to lean Michigan here. I do. And look, I see evidence of this falling to 3 in some books right now, down to 3. If this is 3, Michigan will be a play for me. I think they are better than Ohio State right now. McCarthy didn't have one of his better games, but they still found a way against Maryland last week with Corum and the run game, and the defense did the rest. I know they've got the crazy controversy surrounding them like crazy and all that, but I think when you look at Ohio State, okay, they've looked extremely dominant the last 3 weeks, and I think that's what's keeping this point spread in a reasonable range for Michigan. But Rutgers, Michigan State, Minnesota, I mean, these are awful, awful Big Ten teams that they have beaten down Ohio State the last 3 weeks. At least with Michigan, they're coming into this game on the heels of 2 games against Penn State and Maryland, 2 at least decent to good Big Ten teams, whereas Ohio State's been feasting on the weak. And I just think Ohio State here going on the road now as well. Now, they did beat Notre Dame. They showed, they could go on the road and win, but I thought that was a coin flip. Notre Dame had every opportunity to win that game just as much as Ohio State did. So I wouldn't have gotten involved in Michigan in this game if the number was above this. But now that it's fallen to 3, could only look Wolverines in this game. Conor, Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, this will be our live stream game this Saturday for Ohio State.
As you would expect it to be.
Michigan. Yeah. In these big games like this, I don't know if I am going to have a bet on it. I'm telling you, with the hook, I don't want Michigan. I'm leaning the other way, Savannah, with Ohio State. Michigan's very good. I think both these defenses are good. One of these games hasn't been like near this total. These games, the last 10 years are just, there's been a ton of points, and these defenses has been great. But they just beat up on bad schools, back and forth in the Big Ten. Ohio State, it took a while because I just think early on people were doubting how good's McCarthy. Both these quarterbacks, they haven't had anything
and
really
I don't
to play
think
for in big games.
Great, and he's put up nice numbers, but he's done it against absolutely horrendous teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Horrendous the last 3 opponents.
I think it comes down to a couple of those guys making some big plays. These defenses have been pretty good, but I like the other way a little bit with Ohio, especially if you have the hook. I like Ohio State.
Hey, you can make convincing cases for either team in this game.
For both sides,
the number is, no doubt. I'm just making a slightly stronger one for Michigan, but I understand, you got double revenge. They were getting 3.5, and especially if you get 3.5, I totally understand why someone would want Ohio State, because this does feel like kind of a field goal game either way. And that it's going to be really tight. Even though Michigan has won each of the last 2 by double digits, I don't think that's happening again. And look, they got a good tight end in Stover, Harrison and Egbuka at receiver. Travion Henderson finally looks a little bit healthier now. So it's a great game, obviously. Huge game, fun to watch. I think under might be the best look, quite honestly.
These defenses are both, top 5.
Yeah. And yet 2 years in a row, we've seen holy shit, 9 years in a row we've seen the over hit in this series. That's the thing that makes me hesitant, because every year we thought, okay, defenses, and look at all the points we've seen when Michigan and Ohio State have played head-to-head the last several years. So really bizarre to see the over history when you think of how good these 2 defenses usually have been, and especially this year. So
yeah, especially this year, because the last few years there have been a little bit more offense, these teams, and the defense not as good. And this number hasn't been around the 45 since 2015, 16, where it is here, at 45, 46. So
that is low. And that series history is so over heavy. It's hard for me to pull the trigger on the under at 46 when it's that low. It's probably one of the lower totals in recent Ohio State Michigan series history. This has been the lowest total since 2016 when it was 44.5, the total, and the game still went over the total, 57 points in that game. So, man, that's some strong over series history between these two teams if you buy into that. And the total here only at 46.